Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. This is going to be a rather interesting unboxing. I have two packages that arrived, one big one little one. Basically, each have 4 comics in them. One has 4 slabs, and one has 4 raw comics. And the reason I say this is really interesting is they're all kind of mega keys from the Golden Age. Some that you might not be familiar with, but are kind of considered to be major grails from the Golden Age. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the box and I'll explain them a bit. So these are all like kind of, I got this first one with the raws. They're all from a comic collector known as, a comic store known as David Alexander. And if you've never bought from him, I recommend that you do. I bought many things from him, and he's a really great dealer. I enjoy working with him because if you look at his stuff on eBay, he has some really great stuff. But if you go to his website, it's like about 20% off. So you can get really good deals off his website. Now, the very first one of these books, and as I say, these are all kind of like minor grails. I wouldn't say they're major grails, but they're all kind of cool books. The first one is one that was mentioned in The Seduction of the Innocent, and it is the second print. So there's actually a first print and a second print. And my good friend Kiwi has the first print, and I'm trying to negotiate to get it off him. But this is the second print. And the difference between, you can tell the difference between the first and second print by the color of this. It should be yellow if it's the first print. The second print, not a very expensive book. But this book was mentioned in The Seduction of the Innocent. And it's, kind of interesting. It's one of those ones, I think it's like because of crime, promotion of crime, the criminals are getting away kind of idea that it was mentioned. But it's a very low grade. Even a low grade copy of the second print is, I wouldn't say cheap. It's like a $30 to $40 book. So even this one's like a fairly low grade. It's like I would say like a good plus, maybe a VG. Actually, this one, it looked better when he showed it. I knew that there was a piece missing out, but I didn't realize it was such a big piece. This is another major book. This is Captain Science. And the reason I got this book was I have a very similar book, like Fight Comics, I believe it is, or Wings, where it's exact same cover, okay? But the difference between the two is the ships. See, this one has Captain Science, so it's like spaceships, okay? And on the Wings or whatever, or Fight Comics or whatever it was, I think it's Wings. They're on like they're fighters, and it's like they're shooting the bad guy, but everything else is exact same. So I think it's a cover swipe. So I thought it was kind of interesting. This is a pretty, like, these Captain Science books are very, very pricey. And I'm not so sure why. They're cool. I mean, they are cool and all. They are Golden Age. This one, as I said, it does have that major flaw in it. And that brings it down to like a 1.8 or, like a 2 maybe on a good day. But the rest of it, the cover, except for this, this obvious flaw, the rest of the cover is very sharp, and it's like if you ignored this, it would look like a 8. It's like very sharp, like not even like any real issues. So just it's kind of weird that way. But it's a really great cover. It's like this woman in peril kind of cover. The woman in the red dress, she's like strapped to this plane. It's on fire. It's getting shot at, and you got the villain in the cockpit with like, because it's the Captain Science version, he's like got like vampire teeth and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting, very cool cover. So I really wanted that one because it's as I said, it's the cover swipe of another comic. I just thought that was interesting. And I was going to show the two just to show you the comparison. So that is Captain Science number 3. Now, this is a kind of an interesting one. And it's one of those ones where I've heard that this is the first appearance, and then another thing will say it's somebody else's first, it's not the first appearance. But it is cool in its own respect, even if it's not a first appearance of a character, because it's Captain Fight Comics, and it's an L.B. Cole cover. Now, L.B. Cole is one of the great Golden Age artists, and you can see his name at the bottom there. And this is like one of those World War II covers. He's more well known for his kind of bright colors and kind of interesting colors, but this one is still a good book to get. It's not one of his more pricey books. This is actually one of the more affordables, but it is a key in the respect that it is either the Black Venus's first appearance or not. I'm not sure, because I keep on hearing different things, whether or not this is the first one or Contact Comics is the first appearance. Contact Comics number 1. So I got both because I thought the character is interesting. I read her stories and I thought she was interesting. Kind of looks like, she kind of reminds me of Catwoman if she was a pilot. That's a really weird description, but that's probably the best description I can think of. So this is Captain Fight Comics number 8, and that's a key. It's a key book for many reasons. Okay, now this one is actually all these comics were these are on the cheaper end of the comics that I was buying, but they're all cool. This one is one that I'm trying to get the set. I'm trying to get the whole complete run of this series, and it's called JoJo Congo King. And this is JoJo Congo King. I believe it's number 27. But of course they don't put it on the cover, which is kind of annoying, but I believe it's issue 27. And I just thought this was a really great cover. I like the metal bra, kind of like similar to like Madonna style bra. She's got the leopard, and it's just, it's kind of a cool cover. It's the third last in the series as well. So it's kind of a cool one. So far I'm trying to get the complete run. I have number 1, which is the cheapest. So the way it works was JoJo Comics, it started out with being more cartoon characters. So the number 1 is all cartoony kind of characters. And then in number 7, you got the first appearance of JoJo the Congo King. It was called JoJo Comics before, and then it became JoJo the Congo King. And it was this character that kind of got introduced. And he's kind of like this kind of Tarzan-like character. Like Fox, these are all from Fox Publishing, kind of would rip off other characters and other publishers. Anything that did well, they'd rip it off, and then they would try to make a sexier version of it. So these ones are really interesting. Lots of good girl art inside. Even the cover has some good girl art. So the JoJo ones are very interesting. Like, just over the top. Like, I posted some of, like, you should check out my Instagram. I posted a whole bunch of JoJos on my Instagram, and some of them are pretty crazy, over the top gore and good girl art. So like one scene, just to give you an example, is like this weird Buddha, like, well, kind of like idol. Okay, it's like this massive idol, and it's on like a wagon. And the wagon has these massive spikes, okay, on the wheels, okay? The wheels have these crazy spikes. And because it's an idol, and they're like, it's like some evil idol kind of thing, they're sacrificing women to this idol. So they made a track of all these women lying down on the ground, and basically the wagon's running over them, okay? And that's their sacrifice to the idol. And that they show it. They show the women with all holes in them afterwards. It's pretty full on gore. So that's the kind of over the top stuff that they had in Fox. Fox was very trying to be cutting edge in terms of going as far as it could with what it showed. So I enjoy Fox, though. I think it's quite funny. So this is JoJo Congo King number 27. Now that's the 4 raw comics, all Golden Age great comics. And then we got the unboxing of the slabs. Now, I'm actually meeting my nemesis in this one. These are my nemesis. Like, there's so many of them here. It's these things. These are my nemesis. These are my, like, kryptonite kind of thing. I really hate Peanuts. I really, really hate you. I hate you. Okay, and there's a whole bunch in here. So I gotta dig through the Peanuts in order to get to the slabs. So I'm gonna... So sad. I hate these things. The reason I hate them is they just make a mess. There's no way to get to the thing inside the box without spilling the peanuts everywhere, and then they kind of just like get all over the place. It drives me crazy. I hate peanuts. So I'm trying to do it without spilling them, but I'm failing. I'm failing here. Stop it. Okay. So I totally failed. They fell all over the floor, and I made a big mess of my floor, which I was trying to avoid doing. Okay, so that... Oh, man. I really hate peanuts. Okay. Don't send me ever a package with peanuts, because I really hate them. I really don't like them. Okay. So, so I showed you some really great Golden Age. These are more great Golden Age. These are actually, the next level of cool Golden Age ones. And one of these is actually one of the ones that was on my want list for 2022. So that's always great. Have one of the ones that I was trying to get. And these were all won at auction from Comic Link. And they even gave me a little flyer. Comic Link flyer. So these are all the things. These aren't the ones I bought. I didn't spend $177,000. So don't expect that big of an unboxing. But these are really cool anyways, even though they're not that cool. They're similar level. They're kind of cool, in my opinion. I like them. The first is Ellery Queen. I'm going to take this out of the plastic because it's just such a great book. It's in rough shape. It is really rough. It's a 1.0. But it's one of those 1.0s where, yeah, it's a 1.0. But it presents really well. The front cover is just really, really pretty. You can see it's one of those great, it's Ellery Queen #1. And it's one of those ones with the great, kind of monster hand with the skull rings. And it's just like this girl, like, looking kind of shocked. And you don't see what the monster looks like, but you can guess that it's going to be even worse when you see the rest of him. And it's just a really great cover. Now, it's, as I said, it is a 1. You can see, like, the back, it's brittle. Does it even mention? No, it doesn't say brittle pages or anything, but it looks pretty beat up in the back. And there is tape that was either on this or removed. Kind of looks like residue. So, yeah, so spine, like, I'll read it even. So it's spine completely split, reattached with tape, and 2 extra staples added after manufacturing. So it is pretty rough. But at least it's one of those things where it's rough, but at least it shows really well. It presents well. So as long as you ignore that spine, it looks quite good. And this has a few things going for it. It has L.B. Cole art in it. I was mentioning him earlier. And it's a Jack Kamen cover. So 2 great artists from the Golden Age were involved in this book. This book actually was interesting. I got this at Comic Link, and a week or 2 afterwards, they had the same book on Heritage, and it sold for more. So I was like, oh, I did well. I was so keen. So yeah, it is a fairly rare book. I didn't pay that much. I paid about $300 for that one. That was about $300. So, as I said, it becomes a bit more expensive for some of these books. I think it was $200 to $300, somewhere around there. And this one, I just love the cover. This is a pure cover buy. It's one that when I saw it, I was instantly in love with it. I just think it's the greatest one. It's like Planet Comics number 56. I'm collecting a lot of these Planet Comics ones because they have a lot of these really great Good Girl art covers. And it's Matt Baker, George Evans, Frank Doyle, Maurice Whitman, and Joe Cavallo art, and a Joe Doolan cover. So I like Joe Doolan's covers. They're just quite amazing. It's like these really great good girl ones. So it's like the interesting thing that's sort of like the progression of the women kind of becoming more and more human towards the end here. It's like they're kind of like, I don't know. I like these women in like these weird tubes. So it's kind of interesting. So this is just a really great cover. This is one of those ones that sells for quite a lot. Again, it was around $300 for this book. So that one I saw on Heritage sell for about $500. So so it's a pretty pricey book usually. And then we got two more slabs. And this is the one, I knew it was going to be a little rough on one corner. So this is one that it looks like it suffered some water damage. But it is one that was on my 2022 want list. And it is a little rough. It's from 1943. And it's a 1/8. And you can see like how much water damage there is in that corner. And even along the bottom here, you can see that there's some water damage. And in this corner here, you can see that there was something where this book suffered some water damage. It probably would have been fine if it wasn't for that corner being really, really mangled. So tape on the cover and interior cover. So, it's a 1/8. You can't expect the greatest on that. But the weird thing is, even though it has all this water damage and stuff, it's actually white to off-white pages. Off-white to white pages, which is actually pretty high page quality considering the age. It's from 1943. It's actually got pretty good page quality, and Smash Comics weren't really known for their page quality, so it's kind of interesting about that. So this one is the reason I wanted it. The reason it was on my want list for 2022 is it's the first cover appearance of Lady Luck. So that's her right there, and it's just a really great cover in my mind. Now, the interesting thing is, like, when I see this. And I instantly think this. I always see this guy right here. This is Captain Midnight or Mr. Midnight, something Midnight, or just Midnight maybe. Midnight. Does it say it? No, it doesn't even say it. But this is Midnight, and you're probably looking at him and saying, "Well, but isn't that the Spirit?" Well, yeah. Will Eisner had the rights to the Spirit. And they kind of wanted to bring in the Spirit, so this is their version of the Spirit. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So this is, oh yeah, it just says right there, Midnight, special Midnight in the mysterious case of the murder mask. So this book also features some panels with Hitler in it. So there's a little bit of that 40s, World War II propaganda in it as well. So that's kind of cool. So that's the third slab. Now the last slab is not a really major one, but it's kind of a cool one. I like it. And it is Witch's Tales, number 6. And this is just a one that I always liked. Not an expensive comic. This one you can usually get fairly affordably. Actually, I should mention this Smash Comics, because of the water damage, I got it really cheap. It was $100. Which is nice, because the other copy that I was looking at, which was similar grade, was around $600. So I was, hey, $100, I can go for that. Okay, so that, and then this one is Witch's Tales. This is from 1951, Precode horror, and it's just a really great woman in red bondage cover. You got the witch in the background, and you got this guy basically sealing her in this, like, almost like a tomb, and you got the skeletons and stuff. So just a lot of really great classic horror elements. I just, for some reason, this cover just appealed to me. I just thought it was a really interesting cover, especially that I like the skull at the bottom here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but he's got his eyes just kind of going on there. Usually skulls don't have eyes, so that was kind of interesting. So these witches' tales, there's a few that are fairly expensive, but then the rest are fairly affordable. So I've been picking up the ones that aren't the like big Grail books that are just utterly expensive. I've been picking up the ones that are, in that affordable range. And this was like $200. So not too bad for a Golden Age book, a Precode horror, and in a reasonable grade. It's like a 4.5. So not too bad. And that's the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. These are like 8 books that are, in my opinion, kind of cool books. As I said, they're not. I shouldn't call them grails. When I was calling them grails, I was kind of over exaggerating a bit. They are just cool books. They are definitely ones that I see the potential in them. Especially the JoJo and the Witch's Tales. Those are ones that are kind of maybe a little bit under the radar. I always joke that collectors are dumb in a way, and when I say that, I don't mean that they're dumb in the way that like I'm, accusing them of being like idiots or something like that. I'm saying a lot of collectors that buy Golden Age stuff, they will focus on that one book from the run. So there's a Witch's Tale. I'm not sure which one it is, but in terms of the number, but it's the one where it's like a bell, and the guy's like, there's like a skull or head, in the bell ring as the ringer inside the bell. And that one is like a $4,000 book. It's like a really, really pricey book. It's a great cover, and that's why. But you would think the others in the series that have also pretty cool covers would also kind of command similar prices, or maybe not as much, but something closer to that. But they aren't. They're very affordable. So what I think happens is collectors get sort of stuck on that key, that one book, and they kind of ignore. So they're kind of blindsided by, or they got their blinders on when they think about these other books. And so generally when I collect, I like to look for what other people are not looking at. And because I know what's going to happen is once collectors kind of, get that taste of a series like Witch's Tales, and it does have some really great covers, then they'll say, oh, wow, hey, I should have picked up these books as well. And then those books will start getting hot. It's sort of like, for those modern collectors to maybe have a parallel, it's sort of like those comics where there's the first appearance becomes way out of price, and then all of a sudden, for some weird reason, everyone says, oh, I got to get the second appearance, and that becomes way out of price. Well, had you bought the second appearance right at the beginning, then you probably could have saved some money before it got out of price. And that's really what I'm buying with these Golden Age books. They're the second appearances of great art, I guess, or second, sort of these other alternatives that people might not have really noticed until maybe someday later. They'll be like, oh, I should have picked up those books when they were cheap, because these books are really affordable, and they're really under the radar, and they're just as rare as the big ones. And some of them have even better art than the ones that are like really, really pricey. So just a way of collecting, a way of thinking about things. And I don't know, what's your opinion? What do you think? What do you think of these books that I showed? I'd love to hear your opinion. Please put it in the comments below, and do not forget to like and subscribe as well. That'd be really great. I really want to build my subscriptions, and I really appreciate you for watching. Thank you. Bye.